Good morning, everybody out there in YouTube land. Welcome back to another episode of Gordon's Garage, where I try and work on this bike even more. I'm sorry the last video was kind of boring. It's just dull. You got to put things together, take things apart, blah, blah, blah. What am I doing this morning? Let's see. What's the first thing I did? I decided to take action on the upper controls where the levers and stuff are, and decided to clean those up, hang them up, and start to spray paint. Get some paint on those suckers. And just like the rest of this Harley, it doesn't like paint at all. Fish eyeing on me. I don't care. I don't care. Ugliest bike on the road. That's what this is going to end up be. The YouTube channel who put the ugliest Harley on the road. Let it be what it is. All right, so after that, I ran to the wire wheel, did some good stuff on some handles and stuff, and then I decided to clean up the mirrors because they were horrible, and a little before and after action for you right there. And now I am working on the wiring for those upper controls. I painted them last episode. Might not have been in the episode, but nevertheless, I've painted the upper controls, and I'm working on the wires. So turn this camera around and let me show you what I'm working with here and the compromises I'm willing to take. Let's go. This is the upper controls, the buttons. I painted them. It's awesome. Yeah, they're rough as ever, whatever. This is the actual plug that goes on the end of this wire. And I've taken the tape, this is the other control, all taped up. I've taken the tape off and found out they just went ahead and cut the wires here, added new wire all the way down, and then spliced in the old wire, and then they spliced it again. Yeah, and at the plug where I've cut these wires, they have spliced it again. Okay, so this is where I'm at. I think the length is long enough. I can take off these splices and go with just the white wire. I'm going to have to trace them down to the original wires here and separate all these wires, untwist all that. And I'm going to take this splice out and start over fresh with the new end of the wire. I'm going to take this tape off. I'm going to get in there and see what that looks like. And I'm going to slide heat shrink tape up the wire and cover each one of these connections, because I think these connections are actually good connections. Let me get to one that's already untaped, or I'll untape one of these and show you what their connections were. Check it out. So every one of those splices were soldered. So somebody who owns a Harley actually soldered wires. Even that one's soldered. Yeah. So I bet when I undo all this, I'm going to find good soldered wires. The only thing I found that might be questionable is this purple wire right here is hanging on by a thread. I can probably get that a little better and heat shrink all of this stuff. Let's see if I can't get that together. So here we got our splices. I didn't have to touch those. All I did was heat shrink those in that red heat shrink. I kind of bundled them together, and I have the corresponding color matched up. I have this one extra orange wire, and there's a yellow wire next to it, and inside the plug they are together with some metal band, so I know those two are connected basically. So yeah, so these colors match these colors, but not all of these colors are going to match. Let me come back over there. That's got a yellow paint marker mark on it. So if I come over here and find the one with a yellow paint marker mark, these cables sort of kind of match the cables that are going to that plug there. So I'm assuming since that's yellow and the other one is yellow, they match together. This one has green, and it matches the plug on this one. This is the other side of the handlebars. So yeah, I've got to do the same thing to this side of the handlebars that I've done to that side of the handlebars. And it wouldn't be a bad idea to go ahead and put the handlebars on. let me go ahead and do that. I'm messing around with the wiring harness, and I was having trouble figuring out where this little blade went to, and it goes to the horn. I did not label that. That seems kind of ridiculous because I need to know where that goes. So that goes on there, but where's the ground? There's no ground on the wiring harness. Well, that was sitting on the workbench, and I actually labeled it horn ground. So this goes in there like that. I did label that one, but I didn't label that one. That's how silly I am. While working on the brake lights here, I noticed that all of these had power and stuff, and I was like, why is the brake lights on? I didn't realize that I had to assemble the brakes on the front because it keeps a button mashed until you squeeze the lever. And the squeezing of the lever unmashes the button, allowing electricity to go down the wire to make, that hot. So the switch is backwards. It's always made until unsquished, or not made until it's unsquished. Anyways, so I'm juggling a lot of stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and put this other control on, and realize how close to that speaker this brake goes. I did not know that. Okay, so let's get on to this one over here. All right, so this is where I stand. I can turn this on. Yes, turn this all the way on. We're looking good. I used to have my turn signals on constantly, and I can turn this again, and So I'm not sure of where this is supposed to be. I gotta get that decal up here so I can remember, but the first click is good. It's good. I can do just about everything. So I hit my turn signal on the left, and the light on the dash comes on. One of my turn signals, I've got another one right there, and it's on in the front, but it's not blinking. That's the left. One of my rear turn signals, that's working, and the tail light's still good. All right, so I pull this brake lever. The foot lever doesn't work because I don't have any hydraulic fluid on it, but you can see the brake light back there. I pull it and it gets brighter and it goes dimmer. Yes, so that is working. And so I have to cancel this one, and I can hit this one, and then the other bulb comes on because this one down here came on a second ago, and I have this other bulb on now. So I've got my lights, yes, but this little doohickey here is supposed to be my flasher, and it is not. I wonder if I can just tap on it. What do you think? Get more. Well, it just went off. Is it self-canceling? Well, you bump that thing and it goes off. Oh my goodness. I think I've lost it completely. This thing went out on me. Okay, the wiring is whooping my tail. I think I'm going to do one last thing and address these old shocks. And I hate this hose. It's in my way. It goes over to a valve. This is called, what is it called? One of them valves, like a Schrader valve. That's what it's called. Anyways, so we're going to relieve this bike of these shocks and put on these. So these are going to be just a little bit shorter by about an inch. I think it's perfect. And they're black. I don't have to worry about that hose no more. So let's get these swapped out. so yeah, I'm time to go home. It's cooking hot in here, and I'm wrapping this up. Got the new shocks on. Worked on a lot of the lights on the wiring. Got the handle grip stuff all put together. I even bound up the wires going out into the fairing. All that's looking good. I'm about ready to pull some of those bolts back out and put Loctite in. Be done with that. I still have a few more things to work out, and I want to hear the engine run. Don't y'all want to hear the engine run? I hope it runs. I've never heard it. So with that said, wait a minute. Somebody's played a practical joke on me, and they put eyeballs on the Volkswagen van in the background. I think I know who that was too. All right, that's a good one. That's actually pretty good. All right, so I'm calling it a day today. I'll be back tomorrow and see if we can't get this thing to start and run on its own power. Oh, please God, run. I hope it runs. I need a few pieces. I don't have any throttle cables and none of that stuff. I have throttle cables, but they're about 6 inches too short. I don't know what's going on there. Anyways, yeah, still a wiry mess. Tomorrow, maybe get to hear this thing roar. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Yeah, so here we are next morning, and today I really want to try to get this thing to fire off. Let's see what can happen. To do so, I had to do a few other things, and that is like cleaning up. This place is a mess. I had so much stuff out here, and I still have a loom of wires hanging off the bike. I still need to zip tie in nice and tight, maybe cover up. Until then, you also can't start the bike without exhaust, so we got to put that on. The other thing I was doing was switching around those hoses for the oil pump and which ones were vents. I talked about that maybe in the last video. Anyways, let's see if I can't get the rest of this bracketry tied up and the exhaust on. That will get us a lot closer. I'm gonna have to go out and get some fuel because I seem to have burned through all mine. All right. So with that said, let me finish these brackets and we'll get this thing buttoned up a little closer to trying to start it. It's starting off big. Good morning. It's going to be a good day. Come on. Hey everybody. All right, so I got to town, came back with a few more parts. This one came with a cool little decal. Get to put on my toolbox. But yeah, I have 2 of these cables that are supposed to go to my throttle, and this thing comes in 2 different size threads. And so one of these is a large thread, one of them is a small thread. So yeah, I'm gonna try to replace these real quick, and then this one don't come with a decal. That's not fair. All right, anyways, 2 new throttle cables. I'm gonna throw them on. And then we're getting close, really close. What all do I need? Let's see. I need to put the tank on. I need to put the exhaust on. Let me button those 2 things up, and then we'll get to a spot where we're going to actually try to get the thing started. Let's go. Man alive, there we have it. Got the exhaust bolted on. It's solid. It's holding the bike really good. Let's see how symmetrical it ended up being. It's pretty good. It's okay. It's okay. I don't think I could pick it apart. And so there is like 4 clamps. So you got this dark one right here, one there, one up in the middle, and one on the muffler on the other side. And then you've got the 2 bolts that hold this to the block here and 2 bolts that hold it to the block there. So the wiring harness still hanging. Some of these are hot and I need to adjust accordingly. All right, so right now everything looks like it's there. Got my hoses done, got my fluids in, got my battery charged up on the charger, make sure it's good. And I kind of want to keep this away from that brand new shock. Okay, throttle cables are in, they are functioning. So twisty the handle, the thingy twisties, that's good stuff. I do have this hose. I have it out because this hose goes to the top of the crank case right there. And the other breather hose is down lower, way back in there. And it goes to the oil pan. So I've got an in and out going to the oil pan, a breather going to the oil pan, and this is the last breather. Now, I've cycled the engine a couple times. I don't have any fuel or anything, just to see if I can get oil pressure up there on that gauge, and it's acting funny. And I don't know what this is supposed to do. I know what a Chevy engine does when you take the oil cap off while it's running. It just kind of steams a little, but this is pushing and pulling air back and forth. I don't know if that's what it's supposed to do or if it's supposed to be hooked up here to get vacuum. I don't know. So it is kind of still in limbo. And when I start this thing, I want that to go to an oil pan because there's a chance this pump will have the check valve go bad and it will blow oil through here, out there, into your air filter if it's hooked up into your air filter. So yeah, all I like now is putting the tank on and filling it with gas. And to do that, I'm going to have to put in a petcock and hook up the fuel line. And what else? Oh, there's a bypass line underneath. So let's do that. Let's get this thing hooked up. Okay, so I just spilled gas all down this thing, screwed up the black paint on the tank because it's just Krylon, and a little bit on the frame, but that's okay. And then I looked down below the engine there, and there's nothing because it evaporates. It's so hot in here, it evaporates before it could hit the motorcycle lift table. That's ridiculous. Okay, I'm gonna put y'all right there to watch me try and start this bike for the first time. This way you're well outside the flame and fume area where the thing blows up. Okay, so let's see. This goes on here somehow. Sure. Who cares now? It's all messed up. That's okay. I've got a plan. Got a plan about that paint. So, let's see. I've got that. I've got that. What all do I need? Mental checklist. I think it's time. Let's turn on the gas and see if it'll start. Okay. Let me hold the choke a little longer. my gosh, it's alive. Look at that. Any bolt that's not tightened down just falls off, and it has already done that. Like 4 bolts I had just sitting there because I needed them to stay so I know where they go. So I burnt the paint off the front pipe so far. I'm still working on the back one. Not much lifter noise at all. I can't believe that carburetor just started and just dried up because it's a brand new carburetor, not been tuned. Look at the exhaust. Woo, a little smoky in this one. So how does this work? This exhaust comes up and it keys into the other exhaust. See up in there? Let's see over here we can see. Comes in right there. So if anything's burning oil, it's got to be the back cylinder. But that back cylinder is making a beeline straight out down this tailpipe as well. So I've got a funny feeling that if it's not the back cylinder, it's the fact that these 2 pipes have heated up and burned out all the oil we had inside there. We took them over to the parts washing bin, washed them out, so the inside got coated real good with that naphtha, which should make some love pops. But I think this side over here needs more time to cook. Let it cook, baby, let it cook. We got the gauges. Bolts over there are pretty high. It's charging, I guess. Got some good oil pressure. That's a good sign. I don't have a fuel gauge. That's the other thing I gotta watch for. Right underneath there is just an open hole. I can't be sloshing this thing around. I gotta make a plate for that. I need to make a list. Dry underneath, that's the way I like it. Who could hate that? Woo. All right, let's check out the aftermath. There's no leaking. Awesome. Okay, we did get her up to some temperature, burnt the paint off the exhaust up there. No fuel leaking so far other than what I poured all over the top of the tank. This air breather hose here though, I let it hang, and that might have been a mistake. It sat here and spit and sputter all over my floor, and I think because it is lower than the crankcase, it was siphoning a bit. I think maybe it needed to be held up. That's maybe what I should have done. So maybe I'll pin this in the upright position, let all that oil drain back down in there, and be ready for next week. Yeah. As we said, it wouldn't take much. This next episode, I could get this thing on the road and ride it down the street. See if all the gears are working and all that stuff. I still have smoke coming out this one side, but I think I need to burn it and get it going. Whenever I throttle into it pretty good, I got some good sooty black smoke, so that means it's way too rich. I need to lean the carburetor down. I need to go research that because I've forgotten which one of those jets is the idler and which one's the main jet. Yeah. I still have to make a cover for my gas tank over there where the fuel sending unit goes in. But I'm going to seal that up before I leave today. There you have it. That thing actually does run. I was hopeful. It had compression whenever I first brought it in, so I thought this thing's going to be all right. Man, it's good sound. It's a really good sound. It sounds like a good, solid stock Harley. With that muffler on there, that's a good sound. So next week, I've got some new goodies rolling in each day I've ordered. Trying to keep it on a budget, so yeah, we're just getting the necessities. A couple things I did splurge on. I'll surprise y'all with that on the next video. Nevertheless, we're going to be signing off here. I'm going to be wrapping this up for today, and next week, You think I can ride it? You think I can get it out and on the street? Man, I would love just to get it going down the road a little bit. Just a little bit. Go through some gears, make sure the transmission still works. Man, that thing sounded good. Y'all have a good weekend.